I love television as much as the next guy, but I draw the line of frauds. There's just something about the utter lack of aura these guys carry and the overall disappointment you feel when these characters come on screen. And like people, frauds come in many different shapes and sizes. The cowering fraud, the feet punching bag fraud, and the despised hybrid. The one who somehow became both. And there are so many other categories too. But to start off the list, I'm gonna have to go with my favorite fraud. I could fill this entire video with just clips of Invincible getting his ass beat, and then make a sequel and a spin-off of him getting his ass beat in the comics. Now, the reason why I call him a fraud is simply because he hasn't really won a fight. He's also free eats, to be honest. He regularly embarrasses himself, and he always talks crazy just to get destroyed. For instance, in his battle against Conquest, he was talking crazy to bro. Tell me how you have the sack to spit mad venom towards a superior Viltrumite, and seconds later, beg for a reprieve. Your girl had to step in to save you, your little brother had to step in to save you, and you still let this random man dig in your girl's guts. And you watched this happen, by the way. And you still couldn't find it within yourself to clutch up that battle by yourself. Now, you did win, and I use that word win loosely, but at what cost, really? Your dignity, of course. And can we really call it a win? I mean, he devastated the entire city with your body. Then he escaped merely moments later after you subdued him. You spun back, I'll give you that. Now, you still had to sneak him and hit him from the back, then choke him out as he digged in your guts. The same manner of digging your goat of a girlfriend received from the same man. Is it really a win? He fiddled with your guts so fanatically that he put you out of commission for months. Months. And I'd be okay if this wasn't the first offense. You let your pops do this to you, you let Anissa do this to you, and it wouldn't even be a problem if you didn't talk mad tough. You are quite literally a punching bag for every Viltrumite and other species involved. You're a Viltrumite. Your species is second strongest in the universe. You can fly, you can hold your breath for up to 2 weeks, you can survive anything. You're invulnerable. Yet you still find new and creative ways to get your shit took by random fodder. Not to mention you're a hybrid, meaning you got rid of the gene deformity that held back all Viltrumites that limited their strength. And this isn't a hate Invincible. I love Invincible. It's an awesome show, even better comic. The animation is questionable, but the show itself, the content, the plot, amazing. But everything was in his favor. He's supposed to be the greatest fighter in this verse. Now, to be fair, he does fight people that are way stronger than him. But the fodder, it shouldn't even be a question. However weak and pathetic he is, he doesn't hold a candle to the next person on my list. Or rather, quote-unquote, people on my list. I have never seen such a disgusting, pathetic display of fraudulence in my life. What these anthropomorphic frauds displayed is nothing short of pitiful. Because I don't think you understand. Let me lay it out for you. You had one job, one purpose. An entire infrastructure that went underground, probably hundreds of feet, was made specifically for this one guy to be held prisoner. And every single one of you let Catboy the Kid escape. This individual was unscathed. He was unharmed. In fact, I'd argue as he left, he was in better physical condition than when he was in there. Telling me that he left that place with nothing but a feather to his name, and he was locked up rusty for 20 years. Gave your prison a cold-ass name like Chorgon Prison. Had the lineup of 1,000 rhinos holding this man prisoner. But when it came time to lock in, none of you landed a single hit. Not one of you landed a single hit. You had damn super spear shot at this man and you still couldn't clutch? He was dancing around you, beating the living shit out of you. Or farming all of you, all 1,000 of you. And as you're about to face the consequences of your monumental failure, instead of withholding some dignity, you cop a plea and still get slapped. My God, rhinos letting a feline do a generational run on them like this? Unheard of, man. And you were warned of what this boy was about to do to you, bro. You telling me 5 random animals in a vertically challenged squirrel put up more of a fight than 1,000 rhinos? You're so pathetic, we're just gonna move on. You already knew this was coming, so don't act surprised. Don't get me wrong, I love Hulk. I'm even trying to main him on Marvel Rivals. But the MCU Hulk is a fraud. He's a huge fraud. He's probably one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. And this really sucks to make because I love the Hulk. He's one of my favorite all-time characters. But his name is getting defamed, dragged through the mud. It wasn't always this way, though. He has some weight to his name. The name Hulk held some meaning. But after Thanos, he never really recovered. In the first couple of minutes of this movie, he was used to aura farm. So let's run it through play by play. You snuck Thanos, right? And in the midst of this, an ISO was demanded.
Let him have his fun.
This should have been your first sign to supersonic leap the other direction, because the events that followed can only be described as utter disrespect. Hulk, as he is overpowering you while you're in an advantageous position, What makes you think this fight needs to continue? Look at this. He is currently punishing you for daring to challenge him. You go in for a right, but with that same hand, he mitigates your attack and counters you in the worst way possible. You haven't gotten a single good hit, and Thanos, he is just absolutely ruining you. This has to be some form of animal abuse, right? Oh my god. He lifts you over his shoulder, pressing well over 500 pounds. Easily, of course. And then he absolutely slams you, maintaining all of his aura and siphoning yours. Thanos then proceeds to disrespect two gods, murdering one of them, and then sequesters his drip in the most aura-filled way possible. And after that, you became a walking definition of bitch made. Throughout heaven and earth, you alone found a way to be a coward, which I can't help but believe is slander, because we all know what Hulk is capable of. For those who don't know, since his conception, Hulk has been riddled with an incurable disease. The scientific term being Himothy that guyness, Hulk has been riddled with this disease since anyone can remember. Anyone who could walk away from whatever this is, he deserves that title. Not to mention the way that World War Hulk is moving, it should be a crime to portray him as anything else but him. He took one step in his gamma state, and the Northern Hemisphere became a suggestion. I'm not done. The strongest people in the Marvel Universe, he 1v1'd them and demolished them with ease. Hold up on Black Bolt and said, nah bro, I don't want to hear you whisper. I want to hear you scream. Like you've never seen that level of chronic hymness. What, you think you saw from She-Hulk? What? Nah. Get on my face. Nowadays, it's less of a Hulk smash and more of a Rep's Eye is an emerald life form that initiate a forceful structural deconstruction through the application of overwhelming kinetic energy. Do you see how fucking pathetic it is? And there's only the MCU doing this. But we have, like I said, World War Hulk, and we also have Turbo Hulk, which is a whole nother level. Like, why you gotta butcher my boy like that? And this isn't the first case there's fraudulence in the MCU. Marvel Rivals did your PR service. I don't even want to talk about you, but I have to. It won't be long because your existence, it just disgusts me. And all of you know why. Every single person on Titan was a 90 overall, and they all went ballistic on this man Thanos. Strange was locked in, Iron Man was locked in, Peter was locked in, even Mantis was locked in. But you. Now, I'll give you props. It was your plan, you came up with the idea, and you just managed to get Thanos down. However, none of that matters because you did the hardest sell I've ever seen in my life. A sell that cost so many lives, such as Iron Man, for instance. It was over. You just had to ask Thanos what he did to Gamora. Okay, smart one. So the mad Titan who's going on a murdering tirade, right? He takes your girl, comes back with a new stone, but your girl is nowhere to be found. Like, what do you think happened? Do you think they went down for biscuits at Piccadilly Road? No, he murdered her. And I get that you wanted to fight back. You wanted to make him feel pain. But you decided to pistol whip him? Pistol whip the dude that just went against the best players in the game? You had a super gun on your person. You could have just shot the dude in the head, bruh. At least that would have given you some leeway. But you pistol whip him, and the Mantis gets hurt. She removes her hands, and the Thanos gets the upper hand once more. You should have seen it coming, honestly. This isn't the first time you found out a family member died at someone's hand, and that you acted on a whim, simultaneously poking your own ribs as a result. But as promised, we're done here. On to the next fraud. Before you make my head on my neck, strangers, I understand this is a redeemed fraud. However, it doesn't make him any less of a fraud. Let's be honest here, guys. Puss in Boots is only Puss in Boots because he had all those lives under his belt. The second he was in any real danger, he immediately wussed out. To be fair, his opponent was the immortal, the unbeatable, the actual version of death.
And I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm dead. Straight up.
So yeah, we can give him some leeway there, but he takes cowardice to a whole nother level, and throughout the entire movie we see it again and again and again. And at the end of the day, he does overcome it all, becoming a better person, living up to his name and his legend, but most of the movie, he was a fraud. But unlike most frauds, he overcame his weaknesses, and he won in the end. He ran a favorite death with animation that can only be described as revolutionary. Finally, after the entire movie, he was showing some semblance of who he was before he found out he had one life left. All this was not to grant him the title of his true legend, which is why I don't have much to say about this guy, honestly. I mean, it was satisfying in the end. So let's move on to our final fraud. I have never seen an individual with more aura be more fraudulent. And it's very frustrating because Vegeta's actually a really cool anime character. But this guy is not only a fraud, but he's kind of pathetic. To break it down, right? You're the prince of all sins, which you'll never let us forget. But mere peasantry such as Kakarot, he continuously disrespects you, gets stronger than you, be better than you. Even your own son outshined you. You're so pathetic, you were begging this dude, your rival, to defeat your main op. The dude that enslaved and destroyed your entire species. This is gonna sound ironic, but have you no pride? Not to mention the many times that he has finagled your guts. Even his son, the Mudblood, has more presence and aura than you. Time and time again, you have to get constantly saved by this man Kakarot. Have you ever been MVP? Trunks has, Gohan has, Goku has, even Piccolo has. Come on now. And the worst part is, you're a failure. So, being the person you are, finally choosing the good side after murdering countless people, you sacrifice yourself in order to destroy Boo with your strongest attack, an attack that ultimately kills you. But not only is Boo unscathed, but you just left it to be everyone else's problem. You effectively killed yourself for nothing. And the reason why you're at the top of my list is because you have presence, you have aura, and you're that guy at times. However, you simultaneously find a way to somehow be a loser. So powerful, so godlike, but somehow so sauceless. That's gotta be some type of achievement, right? And the way you cling so tightly to that Prince of All Four Saiyans thing, you gotta let it go, man. It's over. Your whole species got their Doonies ran by a single attack from one short motherfucker. That era is done. I don't want to hear Prince of All Saiyans ever again. The real prince should be Kakarot over there. He's the one putting up numbers and changing Saiyan lives as we speak. And yeah, you're cool and all, but how much more can we really take? So do your species a favor and get good.